Hey English 112, Miss Brewer here to go over week 6 with you guys. This week you're going to start with your analysis of Othello. So we are still in MLA format through this paper, and then we'll jump out of MLA and into APA. What that means is a lot of this should be review for you because you did MLA format in English 111. So we're going to move more quickly in English 112 through the paper process than you did in English 111 because you've already learned this. So what we're working on this week is we are doing a literary analysis of Othello. Now this is a little different than some other analysis that you might have had, because for this you are going to be doing a comparative analysis. What that means is you are going to compare the play, and specifically a literary aspect of the play, to the film O. Your job is to determine if the adaptation of the play into this film adequately portrays whatever literary element it is you choose to focus on for a younger audience. So in your thesis statement, you will need to address that question. You will say that it either does or does not adequately portray whatever you decide to focus on in the play. What I mean by that is if you choose a theme, something, or a motif, so something like racism or jealousy or infidelity, social class, morality, peer pressure, because obviously, you know, Iago pressures everybody. So you're going to choose one of those things to look at. Characterization, right? Is Iago a psychopath or a sociopath? And do they portray that through the character of Hugo? That would be a literary analysis paper right there. You're comparing the portrayal of Hugo and the character of Iago, and do they adequately do that in the film? Okay, so you're being very specific in your analysis. It's not overall, is it a good movie? That's not what we care about. You may have hated the movie. I'm not a huge fan. But what we're looking at is, does the maker, Tim Blake Nelson, does the maker of the film adequately portray a literary element that you're going to focus on from the play in their film? And that's what you're putting in your thesis statement, okay? So this will continue on. We will stick with this throughout the semester, just so you guys know. Eventually you're going to choose a social issue from the play as we move into APA format, okay? So for this paper, you are required to cite the play, you are required to cite the film, and you are required to cite 2 scholarly articles. Now, the first of 2 I provide for you. So I've already provided you with a scholarly article to read this week, and you are allowed to use that for your paper. The second scholarly article can be about the 2 things, or it can be just about your topic or your particular area of focus for the literary analysis. Meaning, your second scholarly article could be about Iago. That's it. Okay, the character of Iago in Othello. So your second scholarly article should focus solely on your topic that you're picking in Othello. I hope that makes sense to you. So what you're going to be working on this week is an MLA formatted thesis and outline. So you'll need to write a thesis statement. Your thesis statement should be 1 to 2 sentences. You should not use personal pronouns. You should not use contractions. It's academic formal language. You should identify the play. You should identify the film. You should identify the literary element that is being analyzed, and then you determine if the film did a good job or not on adapting that literary element into a modern film. That's your job. So what I give to you guys here, you'll want to read the scholarly article that I've provided. You can also look up the scholarly article in the LRC database, and doing that you can get the citation. And I'm going to talk about how to do that in just a moment. There's an online PDF and a graphic organizer to help you write a strong thesis. Feel free to use that, okay? There are resources for your thesis and outline. Please make sure you visit those. There is a video on the connection between a thesis and outline. Please make sure that you utilize that. And then I give you guys an MLA formatted outline template in Microsoft Word. Please use it. Then you know that your format is correct for your MLA formatted outline. Okay, so that's one thing taken care of. So I'm opening this up, all right? And in your MLA formatted outline, obviously you will take out in the header where it says outline template, because it's not a template, it's your outline. You would change where it says last name to your last name. You would put your name, you would put the class, you would put the my name, you would put the date, the month, and the year. Your paper title should be indicative of what you're looking at. So if I'm looking at the character of Iago, my title would in some way mention Iago and Hugo, or whatever, a comparative analysis. Okay, I need to know what you're talking about. It should not say paper title. It should not say outline. Okay, it should say the title for your paper, what you're gonna write about. Where do you find that? In your thesis. Okay, so make sure you pull a title out. I want you to actually write your thesis statement. That's super important. So you write the thesis, so you leave the word thesis, you leave the colon, you write your thesis statement, 1 to 2 sentences only, all right? Each Roman numeral should be a complete sentence that expresses a big idea that you're talking about. So for my paper, where I'm saying my thesis is going to be about the character of Iago and Hugo, and does the movie O adequately portray Iago's character in a modern adaptation? My Roman numeral 1 would probably be all about Iago and his character, and that he's a manipulative, evil person who has no real reason to do what he's doing, so I might argue that he's a sociopath, okay? Roman numeral 2 would then examine Hugo. Is Hugo a sociopath, or does he have more motive? Okay, that's what I'm analyzing there. And then in Roman numeral 3, is the film an adequate adaptation of the two? And then I'm done. So my Roman numerals are my main ideas. A is going to be a phrase that proves that main idea. My 1s and my 2s are specific details. That means direct quotes from the movie, from the play, from the scholarly articles. They need to be in there. If you use a direct quote, you need to have a citation in there. So it's really important that you utilize this particular template to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Please remember the rule for outlining, which is if you have an A, you have to have a B. If you have a 1, you have to have a 2. And that is so that you don't have just one piece of proof, right? For an A, you don't have a B, there's only one piece of proof. That's not enough. It's to make sure you don't only have one example, you need to have at least 2. Now you can have a 3 without a 4. It's just so that you don't have just one, okay? So this is what's due this week. So that means that this week, if you haven't already watched the film, and I have the free showing today, but if you haven't already watched the film, obviously you need to knock that out as soon as possible. You need to read the article that I've provided, and you'll need to find a second article. You need to do all of this before you write your thesis and outline. You need to read and annotate both articles, watch the movie, make sure you have some notes together, and then you go in and do the thesis and outline. So you got to do the legwork first, and then put it in the format. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take a moment to scroll up to the LRC link. All right, which it should be at the top of our page. So I'm scrolling on up, if it'll scroll. I'm gonna open the LRC link. Now you can do a one search, but for me, I prefer click on the red link where it says databases. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see popular databases. Scroll down and open up NC Live. This is the largest collection of databases we have. Are you allowed to use other databases like a literature one or something like that? Yes, but NC Live is the most extensive that we have. So for me, since I am searching about Iago's character, I'm going to type in NC Live, Iago. I'm going to type Othello and Iago, okay? So then I get the play and I get Iago's character keywords. So scholarly articles is where we live. This is the first grayed out thing. You're going to click the words scholarly articles. And now we have all of these articles that come up. Now there's 1,300 articles, so you may want to get a little bit more specific, okay? But really, you might not, because right now, number 2 I have The Burdens of Mind Reading Shakespeare's Othello, a cognitive and psychoanalytic approach to the theory of Iago's mind. That's what I'm looking for, because I said I wanted to talk about how he's crazy. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to read it. And that's where I'm going to focus. I'm going to say, this is what Iago is. Is Hugo this? Okay? But go ahead and click on that link. Go ahead and click on that article and open it up. And at the top, you will see some little buttons. First, PDF. It is imperative that you download the PDF so that you can get accurate page numbers for your citations. So download the PDF and save it to your computer. That way you don't have to worry about locating the article again. Next to PDF, you'll see Cite. Click on Cite. And a citation is going to be done for you. You need to make sure that it's MLA 8th edition, so it's going to come up in APA, use the drop-down box, and change it to MLA. And it's done. It's even in a hanging indentation here for you. So you have the last name of the author, the title, so on and so forth. You're going to copy and paste this and put it on your works cited page. Make sure that you're using a hanging indentation. Make sure that it's still in proper format with font and spacing, so on and so forth, all right? But that's how you're going to get your works cited page. So just go ahead and work on your works cited page while you're researching so you have it done. Okay. Going back into the course, I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys that. So what you're going to do this week, you're going to read the article. Please annotate it, take notes, look for things that stand out if you know what you want to talk about. You're going to find a second article that is about the literary element that you want to analyze in Othello. You're going to annotate all of these things, and then you're going to create your thesis and you're going to create your outline. If you guys have questions as you go through this, do feel free to shoot me an email and I will help you as best I can. But at this point in time, you need to start figuring out what do you want to analyze when it comes to Othello. So remember, you are comparing the film to the movie. You're picking a literary element from the play that you're going to look for in the movie, okay? And that's kind of the plan here. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, it's time for you to go ahead and get to work and start to prepare to write your paper. Have a great week.